You're shit. Hey, fuck you. Why don't you make me? Yowie! Damn, man. Don't shit talk me, skunk. Okay, fine. Say, anyway, Nicktoons crossovers has been a thing for a while, right? That's correct. But what was the first genuine one? That, my boy, would be Nicktoons Unite. Oh, Nicktoons Unite, huh? You should review that because, you know, Nick All-Star Brawl is a thing, even though you're, like, really fucking late to the party on that kind of shit. I know. It takes me a bazillion years to do shit. But yes, we shall talk about it right now. Crossovers. Some of the most hype events in media. Multiple universes colliding and meeting together in one big event. It's awesome. Now put a couple of Nicktoons into the mix and bam! You have a crossover even bigger than Endgame. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Nicktoons Unite today. Ever since the release of a certain Nicktoon game in recent times, I knew it was time for me to go over the beginning with you all lovable dummies. Nicktoons Unite was developed by a lot of folks actually. Well, it was published by THQ. The game features SpongeBob SquarePants, Timmy Turner, Jimmy Neutron, and Danny Phantom. A 2000 kid's dream come true! The game is a simple collectathon platform. Which, yes, there goes my jumping fetish again, talking about another platformer, but enough about me. Today is a Nick Day, and they're not just cartoons, they're Nicktoons. Let's talk about 2005's dynamic crossover. Let's review Nicktoons Unite. These guys are super iconic, even by today's standards, and 3 out of the 4 of them don't even air on the main network anymore. Fucking SpongeBob. This is a video game-oriented channel, so don't expect me to do a retrospective on all these shows. Just know that I love them. So what is this game all about? Surely it has to be good in order to spawn 3 more sequels over its years, and I mean, all the newer ones are kinda meh. Well, shut up and sit down, because it's story time! The game's story starts in Bikini Bottom, because SpongeBob is on the front of the cover. Duh. Plankton is up to no good and shows up in the neighborhood with his robot gang. SpongeBob is about to shit his pants until Goddard shows up. This actually gets SpongeBob more shook than the actual threat. Goddard gives SpongeBob a message from Jimmy Neutron about the fact that we're bad off and that the sponge has to come to his lab. SpongeBob doesn't really have a fucking choice, so he follows Goddard into the portal of Retroville. Danny and Timmy are already with Jimmy, which makes sense, yeah, and why are all their names so fucking similar? But yeah, it's a good idea that you got the other 2 humans before the random-ass giant talking sea sponge. This leads to my favorite part of the game, the character interactions.
This is amazing! He's a giant block of cheese!
Timmy, SpongeBob is a sponge from a place called Bikini Bottom.
Dipshit!
It genuinely feels like these 4 characters were destined to meet. The voice acting is also just as good as in their respective shows. Moving back along to the plot, each hero's respective villain is teaming up in order to form an organization known as the Syndicate. Currently, they are all gathering energy for their big super weapon, and it is our job to fuck their shit up and make sure Dr. Calamitous doesn't do anything naughty. That's basically the entire plot of the game, but honestly, you don't have to make something so grand and big. It's a crossover game featuring fucking Nickelodeon characters after all. You're here for the character interactions, okay? Not Shakespeare. Timmy can't wish away their problems, sadly, because of the fairy's powers being drained from Fairy World, and Jimmy sprays SpongeBob with some moist shit. Then they all start at Amity Park to take care of Lad Plasmius and pretend that they actually got hit by that shit. This game, bro. And have I mentioned that Cosmo's here? Yeah, he's based as well.
Big things often come in small packages. Ask Wanda.
The gameplay is just as simple as the story, so let's go over that now, yeah? In this game, you control 4 characters with their own health and power. You can select one with the use of the D-pad, and of course, they have their own different abilities. Jimmy and Timmy fight with mostly longer range weapons, while SpongeBob and Danny are more up close and personal. They throw hands! The AI in this game are a little special, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. In the heat of battle against hordes of monsters, they just chill by you and sometimes throw an attack here and there. I could be dying and Danny will just stand there like a fucking ghost. This kind of issue is especially prevalent in Jimmy's lab when you're exploring around. The AI will just get caught in something and just not move. The main levels are also really long. It can take like 10 minutes, up to maybe even 20 if you're trying to get all the goodies. I personally don't have a problem with longer levels in video games, but if the music sounds like this the whole time, That's a yikes from me, dog. Going back to those abilities though, they're pretty sick. And you unlock them by finding these thingies with the character's symbols on them. Each character has 4 abilities, and you can apply 3 upgrades to each ability. How exactly do you upgrade these damn things though? Well, my friends, you gotta collect those Scooby snacks. At least that's what I call them, because these coins look and sound exactly like those things from that shitty Scooby-Doo game. SpongeBob can soak up water, summon Doodle Bob, which is a Chad moment, and 1 Bubble Bomb coming up! Jimmy can use his shrink ray to shrink shit and everyone around him, shoot fireworks that interact with set pieces and stun enemies, and last but not least, gonna reference another Nick IP here, he's a football head. He's a phantom. Diddy Phantom. He can walk through walls, disappear, and fight. He's much more unique than the other guys, possess enemies and use their shit and scream like a canary. Yo, that's it. You can dislike the video now, but yeah, that's the Fenton boy. And Timmy fucking Turner, oh boy, his unlockable abilities are becoming Mr. Freeze. He can freeze any object that flashes blue as well as water and enemies. He can be his alter ego, Clef, the Boy Chin Wonder, which is also a Chad move by the developers, honestly. Last but not least though, is that he can heal the team. So that's all the boys for you. They all have their own shields too, with their own designs that fit the characters. And Timmy basically fucking flexes when he has his up. It's perfect. That's basically the gameplay though. Running around with your favorite Nicktoons, beating some ass and collecting some puzzles. And occasionally small missions and collecting those Scooby snacks. It's very exciting, I know. Not really. The worlds! They're actually called worlds for once, wow. Just like the character interactions, the worlds are also a pretty good part about the game. And I mean the actual locations, not the level design, because that's just boring mostly. Each world has a couple of levels in them, and they all have different loading screens depending on what world that you're in. And they look just like the episodes cards. It's cute! You can even meet some side characters in each world too, like Jorgen von Strangle in Fairy World. You meet Sandy and Patrick in Bikini Bottom, and Flying Dutchman too. I hope Danny has a field day with that guy. Heck, even Sam and Tucker are here too. The only people we're missing are Carl and Sheen, but they'll be missed. Just like how not including them is a missed opportunity. But hey, Goddard's here. And without him, we wouldn't be able to save and upgrade. The last level is inside of Goddard, but you can clearly see him in his own body. How does that make any sense? I have no idea. Also, have I mentioned the time it takes to save? Sonic 06 levels is slow. Some locales are original too, like Crocker's Giant Fortress and the Jellyfish Factory. Retroville is the least represented, sadly. You can only explore Jimmy's lab and the inside of Goddard. Jimmy is basically the leader of this pussy posse, so I'm a little surprised by that, but it's fine. You do have your shit like your Amity Parks, your Bikini Bottoms, your Fairy Worlds. There's nothing more to it. It's their worlds, and it's cool to visit them with each of these characters and talking about how weird they are. Hell, Jimmy thinks that fairy magic's a simulation, and SpongeBob didn't even know what the fuck a fairy was. And while in the Ghost Zone prison, it took SpongeBob the entire level to figure out that those were real ghosts inside of the Ghost Zone prison. I love this guy, he's a stupid little shit. Danny threatens to seduce the Flying Dutchman's crew, and Timmy's Ex Machina tricks won't work on us. I'm sorry, Timmy, but the rules say that you can only wish for changes to our world. Even Crocker is out of reach for the moment. Heck, one time you have to help Patrick navigate through the Jellyfish Factory, and my man won't constantly say, I can't get past. Can somebody help me out? Like, I know, you fat bastard. Shut up, I'm coming.
Can you shut the fuck up?
There really are a lot of funny moments in the game like this, like how Jimmy asked Danny for his permission to get that ghost hunting technology. Even though paranormal stuff is kind of like, you know, Dibs thing, and they all chew like some bubblegum shit to stay underwater. It's weird. But I need to move along though. The bosses will fill the empty void that would be the climax like in all my other reviews, so yeah. The bosses! It's not the same. There isn't really a climactic moment in this game, but the bosses are pretty nice. And honestly, they're probably the best part of the game. Vlad, Plankton, Mr. Crocker, all the good bosses that utilize character gimmicks to get the job done. Like spamming bubble bombs, freezing some shungite, and possessing your dad to punch out a ghost man. Hell, there's even a boss with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and this annoying ass flea bot. Holy shit, man. The final boss is fighting all of the main antagonists all at once in their doomsday weapon. We don't fight Dr. Calamitous individually, but hey, at least we get to smack him around here. This fight is honestly annoying because of that bullshit attack where they spin around and stuffs. Other than that, it's cool, because you have to utilize all the boys' ability to get their shields down and unleash a can of whoop ass on them. The end of the game is all the heroes going their separate ways, going back to each of their homes, and I lied, Cindy Vortex is here as well. And with that dialogue between Jimmy, Timmy, and Cindy, made me realize that this game is actually connected with Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. I won't lie, that's pretty nutty. But yeah, folks, that's Nicktoons Unite. A fun little crossover game that you can use to pass the time. It's not grand or anything, but in fact, it's quite the opposite. And sometimes it can get a little janky. Like, why is there no sound effects here? Danny, move, bitch! Okay, yeah, this game's a little below average, but I mean, it's definitely a game that you play. But with that being said, I would have still played the fuck out of this game as a younger kid. You get to see Spiegelborg in Based Cosmo!